Hello students, today we'll complete part 7 of first unit, some basic concept of chemistry, class 11 science. Today we are going to talk about stoichiometry, limiting reagent, some numerical and reaction in solution. So let's start with the first topic, that is stoichiometry. This word is derived from Greek and it have two parts, okay? One part is stoichio. It is derived from stoichion and another is metry. Now stoichion means what? It means element. Okay, stoichion means element and metry means, all of you know, it is the measurement, geometry. Okay, it's a very common term to you in mathematics. What is the geometry? Geo is earth, metry is the measurement. Okay, that means measurement on the earth. So like that, stoichiometry means element and metry means measurement. That means here you will measure the element. Now measuring element means what? Here you will be measuring the mass of the element or the volume of the element. So, stoichiometry deals with the calculation of masses, sometimes volume also, of the reactant and product involved in a chemical reaction. Okay, so whenever you will do the stoichiometry calculation, what you will do? You will calculate the mass or volume of the reactant and product. Okay, and you have to remember one thing, what type of chemical reaction you will choose. For stoichiometry calculation, you have to consider the balanced chemical equation. In class 10, all of you have learned how to balance the chemical reaction. So in first, whatever reaction is given, you have to balance the reaction and then you can do the stoichiometry calculation, in which you can calculate the mass of the reactant and product. Okay, so that is your stoichiometry. Next topic is the limiting reagent. Now, what is the limiting reagent? To understand it, let's go, see this picture. This is the first picture, okay, not related to chemistry but it will help you to understand. So here what you are doing, you are preparing some hot dog bun. So for that you need the sausage and you need the bun. Okay, now you see the number of sausage you have 1 2 3 4 5, right? And number of bun, you have 1 2 3 4. So to prepare one hot dog bun, you need one sausage and one bun, then only you can prepare the whole recipe. Okay, so for preparing this, how many from this combination, how many you can prepare? You can prepare maximum of 4 complete food, because the number of bun is 4. Okay, and you will get one hot dog or sausage extra. That means that for complete preparation, the minimum number is important. Okay, the minimum number is playing role here, because since this number is less, the ultimate product will be depending on that minimum value. Okay, so if you consider this two as reactant, okay, this two as reactants, then this reactant that is lesser in number will determine the number of product you want, and in addition to this product you will get one byproduct as well, that is of no use. Okay, so like that it happened. So same way, if you take the example of if you want to prepare water, then what you need hydrogen and oxygen. So if you're having 3 oxygen and 8 hydrogen, then how many water you can prepare? You can prepare only 3 molecule of water, each comprising of 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, and you will get 2 hydrogen extra. So number of molecule of water prepared or number of moles of water prepared will depend on whom? It will depend on the minimum number of the reactant. You're in this reaction you're having hydrogen plus oxygen, so it depends on the minimum number of the element, that is on oxygen here. Okay, and the extra will be in excess, it will come out as byproduct. So we can conclude that in a chemical reaction, reactant which is present in lesser amount get consumed after some time, and after that no further reaction take place whatever the amount of the other reactant. That means if you are doing a reaction where 2 reactants are there, then the product will depend on the reactant that is lesser in number. Other may be having double amount or triple amount, but the minimum one will determine how much product you will get. And if one that is in lesser amount get consumed, then the reaction will stop, you will not get the product further. Hence, the reactant which get consumed limit the amount of the product formed and is therefore called the limiting reagent. So in the reaction, the one that is present in the lesser amount is known as limiting reagent because it controls the overall reaction. Once the smaller amount reactant consumed, reaction will stop and you will not get further product. It is of great importance. It is called limiting reagent. Okay, so that is the thing. Now, see this numerical. So you are given a reaction where atom A react with B molecule. The formula is B2 forming AB2. Okay, you have to identify the limiting reagent, if any, in the following reaction mixture. Okay, so that is your main reaction. So based on that you have to answer. Okay, based on this reaction given you have to answer according to the situation provided. So first they mentioned 300 atoms of A plus 200 molecules of B. Okay, now if the mixture is like that, then which one will be the limiting reagent? Now you see here 1 mole of A react with 1 mole of B. Okay, here nothing means 1. Okay, coefficient is 1. So here 1 mole of A react with 1 mole of B2 molecule to form 1 mole of AB2 molecule as product. So you are having here the ratio is 1:1, though atom and molecule, but mole is same. Okay, in one case you are having atom and the other as reactant you are having molecule, but don't confuse that A is 1 and B is 2 because B2 is in the formula B2 is mentioned, but mole is same. Okay, here you see the coefficient is same 1 1 in both the case, so mole is same whatever be the formula. So 300 atoms of A, 200 molecules of B, which one will be the limiting? You know that for 200 molecules of B, how many atoms you need? The ratio is 1:1. So you need 200 atoms of A. So 100 atoms will be free. So which one is excess? This one is excess. So in respect to this one will be your limiting reagent. Okay, so 200 molecules of B is your limiting reagent. Next, in this case, 2 mole of A, 3 mole of B. So for 2 mole of A, how many mole of B you need? You need 2 mole of B, but here we are getting excess. So which one is your limiting reagent? This one, the one that is in lesser amount is your limiting reagent. In third case, 100 atoms of A, 100 molecules of B. The ratio is same, right? So in this case, in the third case, there is no limiting reagent. Both are of same value. Okay, so you're not getting anything extra or anything lesser. So there is no limiting reagent. Next, 4 and 5, you'll comment your answer. Okay, so 5 mole of A plus 2.5 mole of B. Here, which one will be the answer? And in the second case, if you reverse it, which one will be the answer? You will comment after watching this. Okay, so this two will be your task to answer. Okay, so hope you understood this one. So the one that is in lesser amount is called limiting reagent, and you have to answer it with by considering the chemical reaction, standard chemical reaction mentioned. Next we'll see the reactions in solutions. A majority of reactions in the laboratories are carried out in the solution. So whenever you enter the chemistry lab, you'll see lot of solutions are there in the cell. Okay, so mainly whenever we do the reactions in the lab, then if you consider other aspect also, so solutions are very common in our life. Okay, so many things are being done in the solution form. Even when you take the medicine, it get dissolved in the blood and you drink it with the water, so that also work in the solution form only. So solution is of great importance. Now the concentration of a solution or is what is the substance present in its given volume can be expressed by this 4. Okay, now you can give the concentration, you can find the concentration of solution by this 4 way. There are more way, but these 4 are very much essential. So what are this? This is mass percent or weight percent, mole fraction, molarity or molality. Okay, now let's understand what is this concentration. you know what is solution. Solution means what? Solution means solute plus solvent. If you mix solute in solvent, then you get solution. Solute is what? In solution, the component that is present in lesser amount, and solvent is the one that is present in excess amount. Okay, that is your solution. So you have taken some solvent in this beaker and you are adding the solute. In the second beaker also you are adding 2 drop of solute, in the third you are adding 3 drop, and in the fourth you are adding 4 drop, like that. Okay, so these are your solution, because here you are adding the thing, you are getting a mixture of solute and solvent, so all of these are solution. Now you know qualitatively to express the concentration of solution. How you will express? This one you will say it is dilute. Okay, this one is dilute because here the solute is very much less, and here the solute is more compared to this. So this is your concentrated solution, right? Very simple. The one where the amount of solute is less, the solution where amount of solute is less, this is dilute, and the one where amount of solute is more, that is concentrated. So these two are qualitative term. Okay, very easy. These two ends are easy. But what about the middle two? Okay, what about this? Will you say it as dilute or concentrated? It will be difficult, okay, because two things you can compare, but fourth thing to compare, the comparison become a bit difficult to express clearly. So for that, what we do, we go for the quantitative analysis. So dilute and concentration term is the qualitative approach, but if you have to say specifically, then what you'll do, you'll do the quantitative analysis. And in quantitative analysis, you have to express the concentration of solution as mass percent, mole fraction, molality, or molarity. Okay, so that is the thing. So these four are the way to express the concentration of solution. Now let's see what is that mass percent. We can calculate the mass percent of solution by using the formula mass of solute per 100 gram of solution is equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution into 100, because we are talking about percent, so you have to multiply with 100. So it is the amount of solute in gram dissolved per 100 gram of solution. Okay, example, 10% solution of sodium chloride means 10 gram of sodium chloride present in 100 gram of solution. So this way you can calculate the mass percent. In class 9, if you remember, you have done all this thing, mass percent, then volume percent, then mass by volume percent, etc. Next is your mole fraction. So what is the mole fraction? It is the ratio of number of moles of a particular component to the total number of moles of all the component. Okay, so here you will consider the mole of, suppose you want to calculate the mole fraction of solute. You have prepared the solution by dissolving solute in solvent. So you want to calculate the mole fraction of solute. So what will be the formula? It will be the number of moles of solute divided by number of moles of solution. Now in solution, what you have? You have the sum of solute particle plus solvent particle. So it will be number of moles of solute divided by number of moles of solute plus number of moles of solvent, and hence you will get the mole fraction of solute. So if you consider the solute to be B, we present it as XB, that is equal to NB, number of moles of solute B divided by number of moles of solvent plus number of moles of solute. Now again, you know that number of moles means what? Mass given or weight divided by molar mass. So if you put this in the formula, you will be getting this expression. Okay, so that is your mole fraction for solution. Next is the molality. Molality we represent with small m. You have to remember the symbol, okay? Molality and molarity. So if it is small m, do remember it is molality, and if it is capital M, it is your molarity. So what is molality? It is defined as the number of moles of solute per 100 gram or per 1000 gram or 1 kg of solvent. It is not solve, it is solvent. Okay, so molarity is number of moles of solute divided by solvent, and you have to give the solvent in what term? In 1 kg. You have to express the solvent in 1 kg, then you will get the molarity. Next, molarity you will get by using the formula number of moles of solute divided by solution, volume of solution, and you will express the volume of solution in liter. Okay, So here you are getting mass of solvent, and here you are getting, in molarity you are getting volume of solvent. So one is having mass in denominator and molarity is having volume in the denominator. And how much volume? 1 liter. And how much mass? 1 kg. Okay, so that way you can express the molarity and molality. Now here from one question come that molarity or molality, which one is temperature dependent? Now temperature dependent means what? In one case you are getting mass, and another expression you are getting mole, because the upper part, the numerator is same, number of moles of solid you are discussing. So mass, you know, it is always constant. Okay, mass never change. Weight may change but mass never change. We already learned about this. And what about volume? Volume increases with temperature. If temperature rise for a solvent, volume increases. So which one is temperature dependent? Temperature dependent will be the one that depend on volume. Now out of this two, which one is dependent on volume? Molarity depend on volume. So molarity will get changed, will get affected with temperature, but molality will not, because in molality we don't get any volume factor. We get everything constant. Here mass is constant, number of moles will be same for a given reaction. So molality will not change with change in temperature, but molarity will change. So which one is better? Molality is better because the value will remain same for longer time than that of your molarity. So these are few conceptual questions, sometimes come for short, like 1 mark, 2 mark, like that. Okay, so that is the thing. So that's all for today. Thank you.